even though we're out of the playoff, like this is still a team that's focused, trying to win. Like you said, the Florida game matters. Not only does it matter to the players and the coaches, it matters a lot to the fans. I think the players understand that. And then after Florida, we get Vandy next week. Like these guys aren't tapped out yet because the 2 games left on the schedule are 2 incredibly important games.
Hello and welcome back to More Steam. It is week 12. We have but 2 more weeks of this glorious college football season, and we're back to break it down. There's a few big-time games that we're going to touch on. The VOLS are going to the Swamp at Florida, and well, the rest of the country is playing cupcake games. So there's not a ton, but we're going to break it down. Let's start with the week ahead. I got Nico. It's Thomas. And we're back. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
Nico, not a crazy big slate for us. A few games nonetheless. The first, out in the new revamped Big Ten, that is, Oregon at USC. Let's just get right into it. What are we thinking? What are the implications of this game? Oregon's kind of a shoe-in playoff team at the moment, but like this is a big test.
I kind of think it's a elimination game for both. Like I think it's a win in your in scenario for both teams. Oregon hasn't really beaten anybody. I mean, it looked like they beat my Nittany Lions, but like
that's right.
That hasn't held up. USC. That would be a huge win for them. I think it's an elimination game for both teams.
You think so Oregon stands 9-1, right? Obviously dropped this one 9-2. They have Washington to end the year. You don't think even with a loss here and a win at Washington, you don't think they're in? You think that kind of gets them out of the way?
I just think they're going to come in tonight at 7-8. Mm-hmm. You lose to what's going to be 15-16. You're probably 12, 13, 14, and then you need some help. So
yeah, it's pretty dicey. I would agree. I think, Dan Lanning needs to get the boys ready to go. Moving on, Georgia Tech, Pitt. This is a game, we were all over that Pitt Notre Dame game last week. Obviously, that went about as poorly as it possibly could for the Tennessee, the Tennessee cause, getting the VOLS to the playoffs. But Georgia Tech at Pitt, the ACC has a potential to be an utter dumpster fire if Georgia Tech does not get this one done.
Yeah. I mean, there's 2 unranked teams in contention, and then there's 3 ranked teams that are. The highest being Miami, which has a very difficult path to the championship game. Georgia Tech, pretty straightforward for them. Win, you're in the ACC title. Next week they play Georgia. While that game is important, if they win, it doesn't matter for the ACC. Pitt, they're still alive. They had the reverse of Georgia Tech. They lost to a team that doesn't impact them. And if they win out, they're most likely in the ACC championship.
Right. I mean, Pat Narduzzi comes out. He kind of retracted. He walked back his statement on Saturday, but came out Monday, I guess this time last week. It was like, we don't care if we give up 1,000 points. Well, you almost gave up 50, right? So, I mean, maybe don't lead with that going into the week next time. Interesting game, though. I want to see Georgia Tech just run away with it. But, man, what playoff drama could be in store if we're looking, we talked a little bit off camera, potentially not even having the ACC, a so-called power conference, in contention for the playoffs. Crazy. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. But our last ranked matchup, that is BYU, Cincinnati. It's a game you talked about last week a little bit. On BYU, we hadn't seen them really beat anybody worthwhile. Obviously ran out of the building at Texas Tech. Really showed up, beat the brakes off of TCU. Now at Cincinnati, their hardest game left. Thoughts here?
I mean, obviously BYU can't afford to lose this since he's going to come in unranked because they lost to Arizona. They got to win because if they win, I believe they're 1 game away from their conference championship game. If they lose, they're going to drop out. Kind of an elimination game. Obviously, since he's kind of playing for pride at this point, they don't really got anything left.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a big one for
Big one for the Big 12, big one for the playoff picture. I mean, you take BYU out of there, it opens up, there's another spot. And I'm not saying, actually, let's get straight into it. Playoffs wise, the idea of a 3-loss team, whether it's the VOLS or someone else, BYU wins, kind of the hope for that's kind of over, right? I mean, it kind of solidifies that spot, and then you're just like, where's the conference champ? Still could be a 3-loss team, mind you, especially coming from the ACC. But last week, we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun with some spreadsheets and some X's and O's, really getting into the nitty-gritty of what it would look like for our Tennessee Vols to make the playoff. needless to say, if you watched last week's episode and the clips we put out online across our channels, didn't really go to plan.
Yeah, Oklahoma beating Alabama was catastrophic.
That's absurd.
That was crazy.
Absurd. I mean, crazy to go into Bryant-Denny with Alabama's got everything on the line. They've won, 9 straight, 8 straight, something like that. And the game, you pointed this out to me, I believe, yesterday, it looked very similar to Oklahoma coming into Neyland. So now you got back-to-back wins. I know there was a bye. Back-to-back wins in Neyland Stadium, in Bryant-Denny, and getting statistically dominated in both.
Yeah, win's a win though.
Yeah, it's a W
Doesn't
right
matter
there.
how you do it.
Exactly.
That's a difference.
That's right.
That's a difference between pretty well coached team and a great coach team. And Venables has really proven that he's a great coach this year.
Oh yeah,
Especially when people doubted him after last year.
just think about, let's take, a bird's eye view way back in August. Think about the coaches that we thought were on the hot seat, right? Versus the coaches who have already been fired, right? Did anyone think James Franklin was going to already have a new job? Mind you, getting hired by Virginia Tech, which wasn't a huge headline. We talked about it when we broke down, the coaching search intel. He's gone. People kind of thought Billy Napier, that was a normal one. Brian Kelly, I don't know that everyone was like, oh, he's going to get fired. Brent Venables was a name in that conversation of like, hey, if they don't show up, if they don't win some ball games that maybe they're not favored to win like they did against Alabama and Tennessee, he's solidified. He's there. He has proven, I belong at Oklahoma. We belong in the SEC. Good for them,
Yeah.
I guess. Makes the loss not look that bad. But anyway, you have some notes here. Let's get into this. I'll stop rambling.
All right, we're gonna start breaking down group of 5 scenarios.
Yeah.
This is where things get interesting with the ACC because everybody assumes when they say 5 conference champions, it's the 4 Power 5s, or I guess the 4 Power 4s. Now, obviously Pac-12, RIP, and then a group of 5. The only thing that counts is that one group of 5 team automatically gets in.
Yeah.
The other 4 conference champions, in theory, could be from anywhere. Obviously, it's most of the time going to be Big 10, SEC, Big 12, ACC, but this year might not.
Mm-hmm.
So, group of 5. JMU is going to come in ranked tonight. Don't know where. They were unranked. Probably feel a little bit slighted by that, but I'd be shocked if they're not ranked tonight. North Texas, they're probably going to be ranked as well on the lower end, still in the 20s. Mm-hmm. And Tulane, they're either going to be first team out kind of deal, or they're going to be ranked also.
And Navy, I might add.
Navy too, yeah.
Looking at the AP poll, they had the most, they were basically came in at 26th, right?
Yeah. So those 3 teams are in the American. They're all fighting for that spot in their conference championship. And JMU is in the Sun Belt. They got an easy ride to that title most likely, but definitely that game. Mm-hmm. So JMU, they finish at 12-1. They're going to end up being the highest ranked group of 5 team.
One would think.
Most likely.
Yeah.
North Texas, Tulane, Navy, all those teams are going to be, I think, 1 loss, if not 2 loss teams. Mm-hmm. And they're going to be pretty solidly ranked as well.
They'll be right up there.
This is where it gets interesting, though, with the ACC, right? Everybody's assuming, Miami's the best team in the ACC, and they probably are. But
talent-wise,
they're also the highest ranked.
Capabilities, rankings, yeah, totally.
But they also have the most difficult route to the ACC championship game.
Need a lot to happen.
2 unranked teams. I know Pitt's ranked right now, but we're recording this before the rankings come out on Tuesday. Obviously, in a couple hours, we'll know. But Pitt is going to be unranked. They still have an easier route to the ACC championship game than Miami does. And same with SMU, who's also unranked. If either of those teams win the ACC championship, are they going to be ranked higher than the Sun Belt or American champion?
Are they going to be ranked? Period.
Yeah.
Is the craziest thing. You're going to potentially, we talked, I guess, you said off camera, Duke's out. But Pittsburgh making all that. There's a chance where they're still outside of your AP or even college football playoff ranking top 25. But crazy, crazy stuff. Yeah.
And I will say, if Pitt does get in championship and win, they are probably in because that would require them to beat Georgia Tech and Miami, bringing them back into the fold. Mm-hmm. But crazy stuff could happen.
I know. Like I said, we did all this last week in couple, I guess you consider it an upset. It would have been absolutely crazy for everything that we talked about to come to fruition through the last 3 weeks of the season in the Tennessee Vols' favor. But even now, we're on the outside looking in. chance, our percentage chance. You just said, our odds got taken off the sports book. Like let's call it quits on the whole playoff talk. It sucks, but we'll be back next year. It always is. But I mean, there still could be some pretty interesting fireworks coming into. It's stuff to look out for as we go through these last
100%
2 weeks of the year. But all that to say, we still get 2 more times to see our Tennessee Vols, our Joey Aguilar, Josh Heupel led Tennessee Vols on the field this week. Is at Florida. It's at Florida. Now, Nico, I know you're pretty much new to this whole Tennessee Vols fandom thing, but this is not a rivalry really to be taken lightly. When we were talking before the SEC came out with the new pod system, like the new scheduling system, like the fact that we got Bama, Kentucky, Vandy, losing Florida there, it's a big deal. These two teams have been playing since 1918. They played 54 times, so not consecutively, obviously, but absolutely massive rivalry that we are going to. Do we play them in 26? Stats and Info is going to get it for me. Doesn't really matter. Just point of conversation.
I don't think we play them next year.
Okay, back in 27 then.
Yeah.
Regardless, I was on the field 2022. We beat them in 2022 in Neyland, and it was one of the most electric atmospheres I have ever been a part of. Helps that the next week we also beat Bama too. I think there was a bye in between there, but this was a rivalry. Tennessee lost, I think, 11 in a row, in those, decade of dysfunction, that whole dark era. But this matters. You look, obviously Vols are 7-3, bowl game secured, playoffs, as much as I hate to admit it, is, a topic of the past. Florida, 3-7, bowl game's not in the picture. They don't know who their coach is going to be. That's a hot topic of discussion as we sit on Twitter right now. Dalton's got it for me.
For the next time the Gators are in?
Yes. 27. Okay. So we will miss this game next year. But you look on paper, like if you took the logos away, Power T, Gators, their way, this game doesn't matter, right? It really doesn't. If it's cool to think like, what bowl game could we get? Are we going to get a bowl game in Florida? Who are we going to play? I mean, people just don't care, right? No one cares about bowl games anymore. But to the guys in the locker room, both sides, and some of the coaches as well, especially, the staff, the fan bases, this game matters. This game matters a whole bunch. So going in, let's look at the matchup. Have anything stand out to you just on your first look at it?
I mean, Florida's been struggling.
Big time.
Like, they got rolled by Kentucky, a team that we put up a lot of points and beat them pretty soundly. Like, they're clearly a team in dysfunction. You saw last week when they played Ole Miss, potentially their new coach, but everybody was hitting up Lagway, hitting up any good player on their team, kind of being like, hey, what are you going to do? So I don't think the players on that team are focused. Even though we're out of the playoff, this is still a team that's focused, trying to win. Like you said, the Florida game matters. Not only does it matter to the players and the coaches, it matters a lot to the fans. I think the players understand that. And then after Florida, we get Vandy next week. These guys aren't tapped out yet because the 2 games left on the schedule are 2 incredibly important games. If you talk to fans, what 2 games would they want to win this season? A lot of them would probably say Florida and Vandy.
I'd agree, 100. And I mean, obviously Vandy has been a surprise in terms of their top 10 at one point, playoff contender, whatever. But that's a game that we just pencil in. You beat Vandy. We do not lose to Vandy, right? Same thing with Florida. This stuff matters. And I hate the national kind of media perception of it's playoffs or bust. It's in this coming from a fan of a team that's not in the playoffs. It sounds like a loser mentality. It's well, no, we can be proud of something even if we weren't there at the end. But I think it's unfortunate to kind of devalue an entire season, an entire body of work to be well, you didn't make it, right? A couple things, you miss a field goal against Georgia. Bama, you throw the pick six. A couple things happen that you don't achieve that goal. It's okay. Not that it's okay to lose, because obviously, you judge your team, you judge your end result, wins and losses. But what I want, I guess, from a Florida perspective, they're checked out, whatever. If they're not going to care, that doesn't give us an excuse to play down, right? When this season's over, whatever bowl game we go to, we win. Everyone gets rings. It's about more what can you look back on and be proud of right now.
Yeah, and I think you really touched on that. Like, obviously, a lot of teams, especially when you're at Tennessee, it is playoff or bust. That's just the way it is. When you expand to 12 teams, that's what's going to happen.
The amount that's invested in these teams, time, money.
But you beat Florida, and you look back on this season 10 years from now, nobody's going to remember that we didn't make the playoff. Everybody's going to remember that we went to the swamp and ended a massive losing streak.
That's right. 2003. I was a 1-year-old, about to turn 2 here in a couple months. 2003. Casey Clausen was the quarterback, friend of the program. I mean, it has been, I can count multiple times that we have gone down there as the more talented team with more left to play, right? Like a chance for a postseason, bigger bowl game, playoffs even, and we just do not get it done. It's embarrassing. And I'm glad you said it. If you get to, March, right? Like after signing day, after the playoffs are over, after bowl season, after the transfer portal comes in, and you're like, hey, what was the 2025 season? You end that, you get that win, the first one, 2003, man. It's insane. Something to be proud of, right? Something to really be proud of. So I will say, I saw watching that Kentucky game, I'm like, oh, well, there's no chance, right? We can sleepwalk in there, do what we can, we'll be just fine. They showed some fight against Ole Miss. That was a competitive game. Watched the highlights this morning, and I mean, DJ Lagway, well, he's got like 13 interceptions, 14 interceptions. Not ideal, but I mean, the dude's still a good quarterback, right? Yeah. He still can play.
Ultra talented team. Obviously, they came in as a top 15 team this year that they weren't ranked top 15 for no reason.
Right.
They obviously haven't played to that, but if they can get up and fight like they did last week against Ole Miss, then they can make it a game. I think we still win, but everybody knows we gotta get rid of those demons.
Oh my gosh. I think I think we can win too. I think this is a major turning point. There's been a lot of talk about intensity, toughness, however many adjectives you want to use. I think from a perspective of 2026 and beyond, with this coaching staff being here for the long run, this is a big week of like, what is Tennessee about? You lose some games, stuff happens, right? But what is the culture at Tennessee under Josh Heupel? I think he's proven a little bit, but like, let's stamp it in, finish the season out. All of a sudden you feel you end this year 9-3, you play crappy Big Ten team in a bowl game, you win, all of a sudden 10-win season, you feel a whole lot better getting Faison Brandon, top 10 high school class, hopefully top 5 portal class in. You feel so much better about 2026 than if you just kind of put the stutter to a stop.
Absolutely. And I think, like, this is going to be a little bit out there, but Kirby Smart talked about toughness this week and how they want to target the teams that their players transfer to because those guys aren't tough. We don't want to be a team that when the SEC schedule comes out and Kirby Smart is like, oh, we'll play Tennessee, they'll be a top 15 team, we'll play a weak-minded team and get a W. Like, we want to be a team that when they see on the schedule, they're scared because they know we're tough. And
that's right.
This week is the time to stamp that.
That's right. 100%. If you, in a game where, a non-Florida, non-Tennessee fan can be like, well, that doesn't matter. I'm not even going to watch it. If you can go into a game like that and be like, no, this matters for this reason, this reason, this reason. We're going to be tough. We're going to beat you in your own place. Yeah. Kirby Smart's not going to win playoffs. And I love that. So, all right. Final predictions. Vols, about a field goal favorite. I think we cover. I think we take that. I think, man, I'm nervous saying it. I really am. And that line's tight for a reason. But, man, I think we can do it. I have faith in Josh Heupel. I have faith in what we can do as a program. And, I mean, what better time to right the ship and let the people talking down on us, hey, this is what we can do, right? This is what we can do moving forward. Tennessee Vols are here to stay in this conversation. I think we can do it.
Absolutely. I agree. I think it's, we win by a touchdown, something like that.
Yeah, I'll take it too. Anyway, get the win in Gainesville, and then got a heck of a game Thanksgiving Saturday, rivalry weekend, Vandy in. We're going to spoil Vanderbilt's, I can't even say it out loud. That's crazy. Anyway, Vanderbilt comes in. We can kick butt, end this year on a good note.
Let's do it.
Let's write the story. Let's do it. All right. I'm Thomas. This is Nico. This is Morse Team. We'll be back next week. Oh, you're not going to be with me. No. So this is Nico's regular season finale. That's great. Well, what a horrible way to end this show. Anyway, I'll mourn it off camera. We'll be all right. We'll see you for playoffs. For bowl game. No playoffs. Anyway, this is Morse Team. We'll see you next time. Go Vols.
Peace.